Hi everyone. Okay, it's 3 minutes past 11 now. I think we better kick off. So, once again, welcome everyone to the session. My name is Janice, if you haven't already know me. So, I will be your host for this session. Okay, today's session will be covering how do we record RPL and or credit transfer in the mesh system. I will not take any questions during the session. So if you have any question, please post it in the chat and I will reply to that after the session. Okay, so if you can see it from the chat, I have also posted a YouTube link. So this session will be recorded and we will post that onto our YouTube channel. So please go to our YouTube channel to access this session's recording if you do need to share this with someone or need to listen to this again. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so in today's session, we will be concentrating on, in today's session, we will be explaining what's the difference between RPL and credit transfer, as well as we will guide you through in record how you record RPL and credit transfer in the mesh system, as well as how do we do some reporting of RPL and credit transfer for the TCSI. Okay, so to start with, what's an RPL? Recognition of prior running. So RPL usually refers to people that has already have the individual skills and competency against a certain subject that have applied to study, either through vast, diverse learning experience. So type of recording, learning recognition for RPL is, it could be this person could have come with a formal learning, as in they have probably gone through some sort of formal education with this regard, or maybe they have done some formal, like informal learning, as in maybe they have done a unit of competency somewhere, and then now that they have come to higher education, they might be able to bring this previous knowledge across. And then, of course, informal learning is, for example, people that have already had been working in this industry for a while, and now they're trying to come back and get some accreditation to what they have done. Okay, so as we mentioned before, the purpose of having this RPL is to determine the extent of which an individual how much they know and their previous experience. If it's all being adjusted, aligned with our current curriculum, then we can maybe exempt them for not doing any specific subjects. Okay, some of the documents that common documents that possible that the college would need is probably a proof of the certificate or diploma, as well as the transcript. If someone comes across and say I've done a certain project that is related to this specific subject, then they can also show the college the project's report. Okay, as well as it is even better if we can ascertain a reference letter from an employer. So all of these are the possible documents. There could be other documents as well that each individual college would have been requested to ask for as evidence, but these are some of the most common ones to use. Okay, and next for credit transfer, this is exactly just a knowledge. Like so, for a student that has previously completed, maybe the student has previously done a VET course somewhere that they have already accustomed a close related knowledge, competency for a specific subject. Now that they have come over to do the higher education, they can obviously bring the knowledge across if they have already previous knowledge of it. Okay, so again, some of the documents that you might need as a supporting evidence is probably if they say they have done a prior certificate or diploma or whatnot, you will want to see a certificate or their transcript. If ever, even a statement of attainment, if this person has only done a competency unit, okay, so it can be applied. And also maybe some subject outline of the previous institution, so you can give us a, this is what we have done, okay? So once the credit is being granted, so once this credit is being assessed and approved, then the student will not need to do the specific unit. Okay, so this is RPL and credit transfer. Now, in the mesh system, before we can actually go into process a RPL or a CT, credit transfer, because these units essentially will be exempted from the student's curriculum. Okay, so that means that they do not need to do these units. However, we still need to keep a record that they have been exempted. So in form of prerequisites, we need to make sure that in our results grading grid, there is an exemption gradings. Okay, so go into admin, configuration and setup. Under the results grading, make sure that we already have one of the grade as an exemption. Okay, so to add the system, how to add this, if you haven't already added in there, just search for the grading type and then just include a new grading in there. Okay, I will show you in the next system, in the actual system, of how we can quickly include this extra gradings into our results grading. Okay, so now how do we accept? So in terms of sending in a request, so of course, student could have requests through your college, depending on how your policy or your process is. So our experience is a lot of colleges would probably, institution would have had like a special forms, exemption forms that they have attached onto their website. So student could have gone, the applicants could have gone there, download the form, complete it, and then send it in, depend on the process. In our system, when we are submitting the application through our system, in step 3, there is a part where it says, do you want to apply for advanced standing credit? Just click yes, and then specify what units you are or what subject you're applying for advanced standing. Okay, so put this into step 3, and then add the course. So this will then be captured. Okay, so this is the place that we will capture the results. So then next, okay, how do we record the RPL in or CT in our system? So if we have already put in a request from the application, it will come directly into the offer under the offer stage. Okay, so when we go into the offer stage, choose the offer ID, like you have to choose the applicant, the application. All right, click on the tools icon. So from the offer page, you're going to look for the edit icon on the right. You can click on the edit icon. Okay, and then once it comes in, you will see this page. Okay, over here, you will go in to select an advanced standing icon to bring up this page. Okay, now if the student has already, or the applicant has already submitted a request for a certain subject to be exempted, it will be recorded down here. Okay, but if the system is slightly different, that request has not come through from the application, this is also where the academic team can actually, or the offers team can actually include the or can actually include the unit into the application process. Okay, so they can then simply select the subject and then click add data, so it keeps adding in here. So once they add it in here, then of course this will kick off the investigation assessments based on whatever the evidence the student has provided. If the applicant has provided and all the evidence has been deemed as successful as well as approved, so the team would just simply come in here, select the subject, and then click approve. So this way, this particular unit, either this unit or a series of units, will be pre-approved before we convert the student into the actual student stage. Okay, so this is one place. If we have missed this place, so the next set, this one tells you, once we have pre-approved the subjects from the offer stage, when we converted the student into our program, then if you go to the student profile and click onto the results page, okay, student profile and into the results page, the subject that have been pre-approved will automatically show up with exempted gradings in the results page. So it means that all these results has been automatically come through. You don't have to do anything. Okay, so in the off chance that maybe even though they have submitted for the request, maybe the approved process has taken longer than it needed. So the approval has not come through yet, then you can still manage this advanced standing record in the student profile. Okay, so in the student profile, we have to go into the results page as well. And now this time we have to click onto the advanced standing again, and then go in to see all if the results has been pre-selected, it will be listed down here. If it's not, then you just need to select the results that you need and then click record exemption. So it will record this unit into the lower grid of the screen. So once we have this all of this recorded, either the team has already kickstart the assessment process, or from here you can then kickstart the assessment process. The same process approved. So once the results or the subjects has been approved, you just select the approved subject and then click the approve button. Okay, so once you click the approve button, the results will automatically be displayed onto the result screens, again with the exempted results. Okay, so the process is quite simple. It's quite automated already. All right. And once we have recorded all these RPLs, we will have to make sure that it has also been recorded in the TCSI information, because RPL and credit transfer are reportable fields. Okay. To do that, again, go into the student profile and this time click the TCSI icon. So once you go into the TCSI page, you will select the student course information. It's under the student course information tab. Okay, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the screen. You will see this on the bottom right corner. Sorry, on the bottom right corner, you will see the RPL or credit transfer section. So if the student is only applying for one exemption unit, so you can use this part to record the exempted subject. But if the student is applying for more than one subject, then you will still staying on the same page, but this time go out to this tab, additional. So this is where it allows you to add more exempted subject into for this student. Once you add this in, just click add and it will add the record. Okay. So this is what we'll basically cover. Let me quickly toggle to our screen so we can take you through. Okay. So to start with, prerequisites. Go into admin, configuration, scroll down until you see results grading. Okay. So you should already have your results grading set up, the different grids. Okay, so in this case, I'm using this results grading for my subject. So I've already added my exemption. Okay, so how do we add an extra one? Is you come out, select the grid type, whichever one that you need. So for example, in here, and then because it's exempted ratings, I don't want it to be calculated towards my final outcome. So I'll select no. Once I select this icon, flag as exemption, this option would have popped up. So I will just select this as yes, I want to give this grading an exemption gradings. Then in this case, I would probably say that you have to choose between what. So you just simply type in the rest is exactly the same as how you would have entered your gradings. Okay, so once you do that and click new, this grading would have come up. So see over here, because it's the box that we are after, the exemption box will be ticked. Okay, so that means that this will be recorded as a subject, but the outcome will not be submitted, will not be calculated towards your final outcome. Okay, so prerequisites. And then from our application, in step 3 of our application, when we are selecting the course, right, after we have select all the courses, over here it says apply for advanced standing. Just click yes, and then say, whichever one that you want to apply the advanced standing for. Once you finish that, just click add new course, and this would be recorded. Okay, so once we come into the, okay, let's quickly finish this application. Okay, so I'm just completing my application, and see how over here, if I just go into this is the edit icon. And if I go into my advanced standing, okay, so I can then add my data into here. If my assessment has been successful at this stage, I can simply select the subject and then click approve. Okay, so now I can tell the advanced standing has been recorded successfully. Okay, when I complete that, say if I just go in and approve my processed, okay, so if I go into my student tab, bring up my student, again, click onto to drill into the profile. Now under the results tab, sorry, I got to please make sure this is a current student first. Okay, now if I drill into my results tab, you will see that because I've pre-approved this unit, so it will automatically pop up in here. Okay, so if I haven't already pre-approved the unit, I can then come into here, click onto this advanced standing stage, and go into like if the process has not been able to approve before we come into this stage, we can then go into advanced standing, and from here, if the subject request is approved, we can then click here, select, and then click the approve button. Okay, so once we click the approve button here, the results would have automatically update the subject with an exempted status in this into the page. Okay, so but if scenario 3, the last scenario is if the student, like the whole process has been taken longer than longer than is required, so we would have enrolled the student into a standard process, like as per enrolling, assuming the student is going to be doing this subject, enroll the student as per normal. Then we can, once the system is approved, we have to then, this time round, we have to do it manually. We have to physically come into this icon to change the results into an exemption results. Okay, and go into the advanced standing to do the approval as well. All right, so that is the third case scenario, the last case scenario whereby everything is taken longer than usual. right? If we have it all approved upfront already, system is pretty much automated. Okay, so now we're in the student process. Once we have recorded all our RPLs or credit transfer, we can go into the TCSI page. Okay, and then underneath the student cost information, this is where you would have recorded your TCSI. Okay, so from which institution the credit was referred to, and then how much value, as well as what is the basics code. All right, so if this is only of course for one subject, but if you have more than one subject, then you would want to come into here. This one, okay, additional previous study RPL or credit. Okay, underneath here, this is where you can continue to add more and then just click add. All right, so essentially this is where you will have updated all your RPLs. Okay, let's have a quick look. My chat is quite empty. If anyone have any question, if the app is approved after the enrollment has been completed, any way to change that? Yes. So if the unit, say for example, over here, let me quickly find a student. Say for example here, in the results, say I have, let's see if I have something that I can maybe uh, enroll into. Okay. Okay. So I've enrolled this student as per normal. All right. So this is now under normal circumstances. So once your RPL is being approved, then you can go in here. All right. So you will want to then go in and says that your mark would be 0. Okay. But sorry, not here. Over here. You'll be exempted. Click the exempted box. So you will want to say, either it's this be exempted or credit transfer. Okay. And then just click here. So then this unit would be recorded. Is there a way to allow that? Mhm. Okay, so once we have recorded this, if we go into, you would see that we have to go in and add the unit into the exemption. Okay, so this is the third way is if the student have not have the RPL requested before the application is complete, then this is the last scenario where we say we have to do everything very manually. Yes, they can still apply for RPL after the application. So it depends on what your college process is. Okay, so there is a couple of questions that is flowing in. So allowed to apply RPL after the application process. Yes, how to apply is depends on what you have set up in terms of your work process. But we can definitely record it in our system after the application. I can sort of go through form and attach and then approve through. Yes, they can if they have the RPL form. So basically the whole process is you can basically if you have the form, of course you have the form and then you would come in to upload the form into here. And then once you have approved your your RPL, just go back here to record it under advanced standing. Yes. Is this a um The final question is, it depends on how you set up your grid in terms of the CT and EX. It really depends on how you have set up your grid. Okay, because like my grid over here, I set them up as EX. All right, so I don't have a CT grade in there. So then it depends on how you will, if you have set this up as exempted grade, then the system will automatically match it. Okay, previously recorded new AS, how to change it to exemption as unable. Okay, so again, the last question about how do we change the grade from AS to exam? It is whole depend on your gradings, and if you need to bulk change, we will have to contact our support team to see if we can bulk change it for you from the back end, because there is no option from the front end where you can physically change the results per se. Okay. Oh, I can see suddenly there is a lot of questions. I don't think I have enough time to go through all of them. I will go through, I will finish today's session. I will go through all these questions, put them in emails, and send it out to everyone. Okay. So, thank you very much. Please continue. I will stay for a minute longer. Please continue to post your questions so I can collect it and I can reply to you all in one hit. Okay, so I'm going to, yes, the last question is this webinar is being recorded and it's been posted into, it will be posted into our YouTube link. Let me quickly put the link again for you. Okay, now let me see if I can put the PowerPoint into, so I've also uploaded the PowerPoint for this session. If you would like a copy of the PowerPoint, feel free to download. Okay, I think this would be the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for attending today's session. Rest assured, I will capture all your questions and then I will send it out to everyone. Okay, right. So please be reminded once you log out from this session, there will be an automated feedback form appeared on the screen. So we'll very much welcome your feedback. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice weekend.